How was the face-off?
It's good. He means business. He's serious, you know. It was no jokes, no laughs, just business.
Did you see anything in his eyes?
We don't look at stuff like that. You can't really tell. You know, he's a world champion, you know, and he believes he's gonna win. So there's nothing really to see or tell, you know, just by a quick stare down.
What's going to happen with the WBC lightweight title? Do you have an agreement with the WBC?
They presented a letter. I think what the letter said, we have been allowed to take on these other fights, the Broner fight, this one, and they're demanding that we face Linares next, immediate. Same thing with Linares. They're forcing him to face me next. I'm up for that. You know, that's what we want. So that's why we think that fight will happen for sure in the 2018 year, maybe in the summer.
At 135?
135, of course.
Are you under the understanding that he's going to be separate from Golden Boy after this next fight?
No, I've been hearing some rumors, but I don't know. I mean, you never know with the contracts, with extensions or different terms. So I don't pay attention to that. I think, you know, the good thing is that the WBC is ordering that fight to happen next. If he doesn't want to fight for whatever reason, whether it's a promotional issue or something else, then the WBC will no longer recognize him as a diamond champion. At that point, I'm gonna look forward to other fights, you know. But WBC seems to really want that fight. I want it, he wants it, so I don't think there should be a problem for that fight not happening.
So when you say you want it at 35, is it because of the belts?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he's willing to fight at 40, but I actually would like to fight him at 35 because the belts are there, the Ring Magazine title is there, WBC, WBA title will be on the line, and I think that would mean more for both of us, especially with all the titles being at stake there, and to really, you know, claim supremacy of the lightweight division is more of why I would want that fight at 35.
Do you still feel more like a lightweight, like a natural
I still
lightweight?
do. I still do.
Yeah.
I still feel that lightweight is a more natural fit for me. But I'm taking on fights at 140 because they present the challenge, you know, the bigger man, and you know, it's a world title fight, you know, against Lipinets at 40, so I can, you know, look for that fourth title.
Mikey, you're looking to move back down to 135, but this will be your second fight at 140. Could that affect your plans of moving back down to 135?
You know what? I think it's all about having the right diet, the right game plan, you know, work ethic. And even though this is my second fight at 140, I don't think it's gonna affect me when I decide to come back to 135. I think I'll be just fine. I'll be you know, well prepared when I do want to come down to 35. With the right diet, you know, you really can't go wrong. Now, if I really see anything that's gonna affect me in a negative way, then I would probably at that point decide to stay at 140 and maybe invite Linares to move up. But as of right now, my first choice would be to fight him at 135.
There's a lot of talk about you fighting Lomachenko in the future, possibly. But when you were in New York, Bob Arum was pretty dismissive and said that Lomachenko would make a joke out of you.
Well, I know there's a lot of talk between the media and the fans. They want to see him fight, you know, bigger challenges. He's fighting smaller men, and he himself doesn't give himself that much credit for fighting, you know, Ringendahl for the size advantage. Well, I'm moving up in weight. Even though I'm champion at 35, I'm moving up in weight to fight bigger men because I do want that challenge. If he's ready to move up to 35, you know, we could definitely do that. I know Bob won't say anything, you know, positive about that. I don't even know if he's interested in actually facing me. The way I know Top Rank works, they'll have somebody else in line for him to win a title, you know, at 35 or maybe even at 40. Most likely he's not going to want to face me because Bob won't allow it.
Yeah, Richard said that he doesn't think Bob will ever let Lomachenko near you.
I don't think he would. I think Bob Arum has been doing business so well for so long, the way he runs his business, that it's not in his best interest to face me with his fighters. Whether it's financial reasons or taking a loss or whatever, I think he's not gonna be very excited to do business with me. But I know Lomachenko would take the fight, and I would also take that fight. So maybe down the road we could actually have that fight.
What would happen in that fight, you feel?
I think I beat him. I think my skills, my ability, my strength, my size advantage definitely helps me. He's a great fighter. He's got great skills, but you know, I want to see him fight guys at least in his division. You know, other champions like Davis or Burchett, guys that are same size and are very talented as well, strong guys. I think he still has a chance to beat these guys, like I mentioned, but if they present a real challenge, not smaller guys.
What do you make of this aura now being created about him, that he's some unstoppable fighter, that no one can touch him, that when he steps in the ring, he steps into the matrix? What do you make of that moniker now being created around him, and given what you said about him fighting smaller guys?
Well, he's got to do what he's got to do no matter who's in front of him. You can't deny the skills. You can't deny the speed or the footwork or the different angles. It's there. You see it. Whether it's a small guy or a bigger guy. I mean, he did it with Walters too. You know, so you can't deny that. But in order to give credit or more credit, I think he needs to be facing bigger men, or at least men his own size in his weight class, to be able to get that credit. Until then, you know, I think that's why there's still some you know, criticism, but you know, he's definitely got the skills, and I mean they're promoting him very well for that.
How close do you think you are to becoming a pay-per-view star? Showtime's obviously pushing you, and rightfully so, for a lot of reasons.
Look, I think we're on the right track. I think a few fights from now we might be that star that people expect. We need the right names. Right now we're pushing for that too. You know, we're trying to secure, like I told you, the good fights. This is a world title fight. After this, we can probably secure a Linares fight or another unification match, maybe a 35 or 40. You know, but those are the fights that will land me that pay-per-view, you know, status. And I think there's not that many fighters out there doing that. The other fighters, you know, are champions and they're doing well, but they're not taking the risks or the steps that I am. And I think we're gonna be there very, very soon.
Can you feel your marketability and your name brand growing?
It's been growing ever since I came back. It was never really lost. I mean, even though I was gone, it seemed like my name was still relevant, you know, in the sport, and that helped me for when I returned. I came back, and it just seems like it's taking, you know, leaps forward every fight. And like I said, that's the reason why I think in a few fights we will be at that pay-per-view level.
Do you think you need to move to welterweight for that pay-per-view fight to happen, though, or is it like Lomachenko or welterweight?
Well, with the pay-per-view, you got to have the right, you know, partner. You got to have the right name. And until we have that, you know, it's hard to tell. I don't want to rush things either. I've seen other fighters jump on a pay-per-view or independent pay-per-views and not do well, and that hurts them. I don't want to make that mistake. So you need the right guy in order to sell. But we're on the right track. Like I said, you know, we're taking the proper steps, the right fights. This fight with Lipinets, you know, it's another world title fight. You know, I had not realized only Marquez and Pacquiao had won titles from featherweight and up north to junior welterweight. That's great. You know, that helps with market myself. So I'm very happy with the way things are shaping up, and I really do think that very soon I will be on pay-per-view shows.
Mikey, who do you think would be the right guy to get you to that level? Given the current landscape, who would be that guy?
Look, right now, taking on Lipinets first, followed by a Linares, which I think would do very, very well for me and my career. After that, then we're very close to maybe the next one being on a pay-per-view. Names that could land a pay-per-view, depending on what weight class I'm looking at. But right now at 140, there's not a whole lot right now at this moment. The one that was there was Crawford, but now he's at 47. So maybe we come back to 35 and maybe try to secure that Lomachenko fight at 35. By then, he might already be there. That could possibly land on a pay-per-view. If not, then I may have to move up to 47. At 47, you got a lot of names. You got a big pool of names. I think any of the names at 47 would land a pay-per-view if I accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish right now.
In terms of weight, are you...
Well, I want to match my brother and Vargas. You know, they had the IBF. My brother had the IBF at 130. Vargas had the IBF at 154. So I want to add the IBF to the collection, and maybe we can all take a picture showing off the same belt.
In terms of going up to 47, your frame and stuff like that, how do you think things would change in camp to fill out to that frame? And is that legitimate concern about your size going into that weight division?
Well, I'm not looking at 47 right away. Like I said, I would probably have to, but that may be another year or who knows. If I did want to get at 47, of course, there's going to be some changes in the training, to fill me into that division. But I also have to fight smart. I'm not going to be looking for the knockout maybe as much, because I may not be able to secure a knockout. So I'm going to have to maybe make some changes, maybe fight smarter. But, those are the fights that will be on a pay-per-view scale, and I think the fight fans will be very excited to see me with those welterweights. But we just got to take the right steps at the right time.
You called out Mikey Garcia'S on Twitter a few times. Would you still be willing to go to 54 for the right fight? Could you be a 60 champ?
I was willing to go to 154 for Cotto, but I don't see any interest anymore at 154. I mean, my division is obviously lightweight and super lightweight right now, but 154 was interesting enough for Cotto and exciting for Cotto. The name Cotto carried more weight than the division or the title, the championship belt for me. I don't think I'll be going to 54 anytime soon. Maybe years from now, if I'm big enough or the right fight at that time. I don't see myself there right now.
Do you see Lipinets as a vulnerable guy, given your style? Because a lot of people online are saying that it's going to be a fight where it's going to showcase you. You could potentially get a knockout. Even Lipinets has kind of seen those tweets and tweeted out like, hey, I'm not just going to give this belt over to Mikey. But do you see it kind of going your way like that because of his defense and the way he's come out a little bit damaged in the other fights?
Look, I've seen Lipinets on 2 occasions, and I don't see it the way most fans or most critics, media, are writing. I think Lipinets is actually a very, very dangerous fight for me. When I consider the size advantages, the strength advantage that he has, those are concerns that I can't ignore. And when he lets his hands go, I mean, he's dangerous. I got to be careful. Now, do I still believe I have more skills to beat him and overcome those? Yes, I do. I think my boxing skills are greater than he has, and that's why I feel I'm going to win. But, I mean, inside the ring, anything could happen. I mean, you got surprises all the time. You get these young guys or young fighters fighting, top contenders or world champions, and they give you the surprise, So you just can't go by what someone is writing, because most likely they've never stepped foot inside the ring.
2 more questions, guys.
You were asked earlier about, Arum, whether or not he would let Lomachenko anywhere near you. Any concern that this is more than just, strategy on their part about keeping their guy, not knocked out or whatever, that there might be some personal stuff kind of left over from the litigation?
I don't know if there's so much personal stuff right now. I mean, like he mentioned himself, you're in a business. He said something like, you don't stay in this business holding grudges or something like that. So I think they have an agenda for Lomachenko. They have a game plan on how to guide his career, and they're taking on different fights. And I don't think Mikey Garcia is anywhere near those plans. But for the right money, for the right business, I'm sure he's willing to work.
Last question, guys.
What do you tell your fans right now? Does tickets go on sale on Monday?
Well, tickets are going to go on sale, and they're very reasonably priced. I think it's a great show, great fight. So make sure they can come out and support. If they can't come out, make sure they watch it on Showtime, because I'm prepared to give everybody a great show and just give the fans another side of Mikey Garcia.
Thank you, guys.
The size advantage was just too great. Lomachenko had the size advantage and really did what he had to do, and he himself doesn't give himself that much credit for that reason. I was a little disappointed in Ringendahl because I thought he was going to be able to perform better, but it was just too much for him.
Thanks, guys. That's a wrap, guys.
I don't know, dude.
Anyone who needs Sergey?
He said he hurt his hand, so it's just the bruise. Who knows? I don't know. This way.